James King here, and you are watching and listening to the AV Life.
Hey, you all. I am Murphy Daley, defender of the project, author of the AV Project Manager Handbook. And you are watching and listening to the AV Life.
And I'm your host, Tim Van Wert, coming at you I'm on campus at Rutgers University, New York, for a midday recording of the AV Life. All right, folks, here we are. Yeah, we've been, well, actually, let me just be clear. I'm not even going to say we, it's me. I'm the problem, it's me. And yeah, so midsummer has been
That's a
proving to be
catchy little phrase.
yeah, Sam, somebody should write it and put it in a song or something like that, you know. Um, and so yeah, I'm the problem here. So Midsummer at Night has proven to be a little bit more difficult than I've been as past summers. When you have a kid that's doing two travel teams, it's whatever the sport might be, it does take up a lot of time. And I know James James can speak volumes to that.
Oh yeah.
And you got three, so it's
Well, luckily my oldest doesn't play any sports.
oh, okay.
Yeah, so really, and my youngest one, we haven't figured out to put him in anything. And I hate saying this, it's kind of limited with my middle child because we only had the one vehicle. So it's like, how do we get everyone everywhere?
You're just fine with that?
Yeah.
Mm.
And ladies and gentlemen, Renee Benson has joined the podcast here.
Sorry.
No, it's okay.
No,
Hey,
we were actually just introducing.
I was just introducing everybody and, saying that, I'm the problem, so I'm the one that's making it. Yeah.
I'm glad to be here. Sorry about that. I had to make a quick little rearrangement with somebody. But...
Oh, and here comes Nancy.
Wait.
All right. And there we go.
Yeah, hey, I was getting an IV and I didn't realize it was going to take 2 hours. So it's like I just got home.
All right. Well, glad.
Okay, my friends, take a moment, pause,
Yes.
and make your faces pretty. There we go. I forgot to do that, so now I have.
That's okay.
Y'all look great.
Live and during the recording, no problem. Why not? The high quality stuff that people chime in here for. So yeah, it's like I was saying, it's been proven to be difficult at night. So I kind of called an audible today. We gathered the troops and we all got here. Brandy is traveling. I think she's still recouping from the roadshow last week. So
this is a startlingly big turnout, honestly.
Yeah, it's been a while. I think since we've had all five of us like this.
Yeah.
So I'm glad we were able to kind of, in a rush, got everybody back together here a bit. So yeah, I mean, first off, well, since Renee, since you're here, you want to speak a little bit towards the HETMA Roadshow? Is that the T-shirt I am seeing you wearing?
No, this is last year's. I wore the HETMA, the one I got there yesterday. So this is This is the Road to 10K one.
The Road to 10K one. Oh, okay, yeah. There you go. I didn't get one of those, so that's why.
Oh, you didn't?
Nope.
Maybe I got this at Infocom. Can't remember.
Renee, that is this year's because I have that one too.
Okay, yeah, it's this year's. I got one the other day, but I wore it yesterday. But another.
You must have like an entire room of your house dedicated to all your T-shirts, Renee.
It's plenty. And then between Sony and HETMA and AV and the AM back in the day, I used to have all those T-shirts. And yeah, there's a lot there. Yeah, it was. I tell you what, Creighton has got a very beautiful campus, and the building we were in, I think they said it had been redone 2 years ago or so. So it was just beautiful. I mean, white marble, just a beautiful facility. We had done a small pre-event the night before with the group from Forte and Peerless and Sony put together a little, it's a driving experience, but it's not cars. It was like little go-karts, but they were gas powered 45-mile-an-hour go-karts. So it was
wow.
It was a little Freaky Friday, but it was so much fun. But I definitely said next time if we do this again, that we definitely will we'll advertise it more for the HETMA folks. But we had quite a few people there, and just pre-networking. The show day, I think that there were quite a few people that couldn't come, like from the HETMA group that were originally going to be there, like Ryan Gray and Troy and that sort of thing. But Dustin and John, Dustin, John, and Chris, the three of them did an amazing job. It was set up great. He did a really nice communication with everybody as it started. They did some tours of the campus. What was really cool, which what I've always loved about HETMA anyway, was some of the smaller schools from South Dakota, from Kansas, from Iowa, that don't get to attend InfoComm or don't get to go to shows. Like we don't have Almo E4 events here in the Kansas or in the Omaha area, and so they got to come, and they loved being able to feel like they were surrounded by really great vendors. They got to see some things on campus that was like, oh, we could never do that at our school, but it's so cool to see what they're doing that maybe one day we can do this. But it was nice to see all the collaboration happening with some of those smaller schools. And then you had the Iowa States, those, the bigger schools there as well. But it was super neat. It was I have nothing bad to say. It was a great day. I think that he did a great job with food and beverage and the setup and signage, and every part of it was great. It was very beneficial for us. We were able to show off 2 new products that we had just showed at InfoComm. So for the folks who don't get to go to InfoComm, they were like, oh, cool. We get to see all the things coming right off the InfoComm. Because I was like, this is the first P and S series to ship post InfoComm. So you guys are getting cutting edge here today. So that was really cool. But a lot of great connections. I actually need to do some follow up with some people, so I'll get that done. But it was a great event. I asked Chris, can you make this an annual event? Because you did such a great job. And again, we don't get much in the middle of the map like that. So it was awesome.
Well, there you go. Here's the call out to any of our Middle America universities out there. Let's step it up, and you too can host a HETMA Roadshow. And we've got a nice system in place now. So you just need to provide the space, and we'll help with guidance and stuff like that. So come and reach out and show off what you got going on right now. And we all have it. We all have that one space at least that we're proud of that we did, and if you don't have it yet, if you're just looking to show off the beautiful campus you have, do that too. So, it's all fun. So, yeah.
It was great. It was great. Awesome. It brought together a lot of good partners, and we had, several of us stayed at a hotel called the Moxie. So if you've ever stayed at a Moxie, they're in their lobby area. They have a lot of games. So there's like cornhole, there's shuffleboard, the big tic-tac-toe thing. We had all sorts. So we got everybody together there after the show. Well, after the show, they had a little happy hour. But after that, we all went to our hotel, and just camaraderie, just everybody hanging out with vendors, competing vendors, customers, end user customers, everybody it was like we kept the show going. So it was a lot of fun. And I'm super excited that Sony chose to be a part of this one and that I was able to be there. So I thank those guys. Like I said, Chris and Dustin and John, they just nailed it. And whoever else helped behind the scenes at HETMA, I'm sure it was a great event.
Awesome. Glad to hear it.
2 thumbs up.
Yeah. Well, I don't want to go too far away from talking about technology at higher ed, because there's a topic of conversation I want to have real quick about that. But I also want to make sure we get in our PM minute with our PM miniatress, Murphy Daley.
Yes.
I know I haven't referred to you as that in a while. So yes.
Good times.
Defender of the projects. Yes.
Defender of the project. That's right. This was one of the things it means to be a project manager is to manage the schedule, right? So this whole current moment was brought to you by me saying, hey, Tim, do we have anything on the schedule? And you said, oh my gosh, I forgot it was Tuesday. And then, boom, it all rolled forward because I asked the question, just thinking, is it happening tonight? Is it happening later? Whatever. And then you said, can we? And everybody immediately jumped in. This all happened like what? This whole thing happened less than 90 minutes ago. Yeah.
An hour and a half, yeah.
Yeah. So we all came together. And the reason I bring that up is because it's a good idea not.
Oh, no. She just totally dropped out mid-state.
Not. Bam, I'm out of here.
That's it.
Mic drop.
That's sorry, folks. We just totally lost Murphy there.
Oh, what's going on in Southern California?
No. All right. Well, yeah, but yeah. So we kind of like Murphy was kind of leading towards a little bit. We just circled. Yeah, we circled the wagons and got everybody here. So we'll wait a minute and see if she comes back. So all right. Well. All right, well then I'm going to shift gears and go back to what we were going to talk about afterwards. AV Week with our friend Tim Albright, who hopefully you chimed into the 3 Tims Talking Tech episode from last week. I was like, we released 2 episodes in like a matter of a week. You know, we haven't done that in a while, so that was fun to be able to drop that and the Women of AV episode. So, and Renee, thank you so much for taking the lead on that, and and taking that up. Okay, we got Murphy back. So, but yeah, so I'm bringing Murphy back. Hang on, hold the thought. We'll hold your thought. We'll come back to that. So yeah, Tim Albright. So thank you, Renee, for taking charge of that. I think you did a great job, and I, after all these years, I definitely could entrust that with you. So I knew you were going to do great.
It was fun. It was a lot of fun. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. So yeah, all right. So never mind about my conversation. We're going to go back to Murphy. That was
back
like the
to
most
our previously scheduled.
Yeah, you were just like, and not bloop, and that was it. Like just full on, just cut.
Yes. So to unpause, to not put things into the impossible bucket, to believe that things are possible. Like, oh, what if you ask? Don't hide things from the project team, from management, from the customer, even bad stuff. Like, well, getting disconnected. Because if I am open and think what is possible, explore it, things can come untangled, and it can happen. So as a project manager, I've learned that. Ask, explore, ask the question. Don't just stay quiet. That's my PM.
There you go. Yeah. See, and now that makes me think of the Walt Disney quote that it's kind of fun to do the impossible.
Oh, there you go.
Because a lot of things, if you don't ask the question, then you don't know. And like, it is impossible if you don't ask. Yeah. What's the other line? Like, you never know.
Always no.
There you go. It's always no unless you ask.
And I'm going to give credit to Britt Yenser. I don't know if she originated this one, but I've heard it from her, so I'm giving her the credit. But I love the statement: "Closed mouths don't get fed."
Ooh.
Yeah. So ask the questions. Yeah. And just recently I was on a meeting, and we were talking about things, and one of the people in the meeting brought up like, well, we can't go with that idea because it costs too much money. I was like, hold on. I was like, because they're not in a position to say yes or no on money. They're smart people. They're boots on the ground. Leadership is the one who approved money and budget. So I was like, don't deter an idea just because of the cost. They go, throw it out there. The answer might be no, but you don't know. Give us the chance, give us leaders a chance to review and see. I go, if we just sit there and go, oh, that's going to cost money, you're going to hinder innovation. It's like, throw it out there. The answer might be no, but, put it out there. Ask.
Well, that's kind of like a situation I'm in right now, is that I've been semi-tasked with looking at the technology plan going forward for the next few years. And so I got to start thinking about the things that I need to ask for, and not just think about, what's it going to cost. It's like, all right, well, if this is what it's going to be to help us do our jobs, or if this is going to make the student experience better, then those are the things I need to ask for, and then be able to defend and support those ideas. So, and that's something I really haven't had to do. So this is uncharted territory for me.
Everything is becoming about the user experience. And for you all in higher ed, that's the student and the faculty and the experience with what they, you got to think about now, the kids that are coming into college, all they've known is technology, right? I mean, they had probably a phone in their hands since probably,
since birth.
Yeah.
Right.
Or phone in their face since birth. That's
for sure.
Exactly.
Taking pictures or doing whatever. I mean, it's funny. My grandson just turned 7 and was asking, okay, what can I get him? And they're like, he loves pictures. He loves to take pictures. He likes to grab the phone and just take pictures. So a nice little camera. It's like, well, yeah, because that device has been in his phone he's had 1 million pictures taken of him since he was born. And one of the things he likes to do is just scroll through the album, just to look at old pictures. But you think about that all stems from, I mean, he's young. Imagine by the time he gets to college, the experience that he's got with technology. I mean, we've got nieces and nephews that are fixing grandma and grandpa's TV, because they can and the things. So yeah, by the time you guys are really tasked with giving them an experience that, they're gonna.
And that's actually, Renee, that is a perfect segue. So thank you, Murphy, for this. And the folks over at AV Week, like I was saying, Tim Albright, our good friend, they had an episode out this week, and it was what they were talking about, there's usually multiple topics that they do throughout the week, but for the week, but specifically this was talking about students choosing universities based on the technology experience, and is good enough AV good enough now? Like, is that what's going to, like, if you're going to miss out on, I think the number was 1 in 4, James, I think it was 1 in 4 students. I think it
maybe. Yeah,
so
I'm not quite sure.
I think it was it was like somewhere around there. It was a pretty decent percentage of students are turning down universities because they don't have the latest and greatest, or they don't meet their technology needs, I guess is probably the best way of putting it. So 25% of students are, and in these days, and I can speak to this because it's public record for Rutgers, is that we're in a hiring freeze now. We're being instructed to be good stewards of our budget. So, but that doesn't mean we can't ask for things, but we need to defend, like I said, we have to defend and support the things that we want to do. We just can't go and spend, millions of dollars on, all willy-nilly. But like, we need to have the ROI. We need to have it. Like, if us putting another projector into a classroom, is that going to keep a student? Is that going to keep 5 students? Is that going to, how do we equate that? I mean, James, I'm only going. I admittedly, I did not listen to the whole episode. I only saw Tim Albright's 1 minute blurb on LinkedIn. So James, if you want to if I missed anything, patch in any holes.
I don't think you miss anything, but add a little more. And I'll admit, I really didn't take detailed notes on the episodes. I didn't know we would be talking about this.
No, that's fine. That's what happens when you pull things together at the spur of the moment.
But really, what I took away from it, they were talking about the good enough is it good enough? And experts on there were, very wise, smart people. And I know, Tim, you asked me this question off air of what my thought was. And the best answer I could give you were they were right, but they weren't right. And it sounds weird, but they really talked about the budget. They're like, oh, budget is determining the good enough. And yes, budget is important. Don't get me wrong. We, as Tim just mentioned, we got to be good stewards of our budget and, making sure we're not wasting the money. And my thing is, though, is we are not really putting good enough in. We're actually how I want to put this way is I think we are seeing a maturity in higher ed. We are less reliant on integrators who just come in and throw the disco ball in. And you have a lot of smart folks who are now in the driver's seat saying, okay, it needs to be scalable. It needs to be consistent. It needs to be, the experience needs to be the same. The article that they were talking about on AV Week really came from Logitech and Avixa, I think it was, or I'm not quite sure who the other one, but, let me face it, it wasn't a higher ed person. It was, a manufacturer and an outside person seeing what's going on. And I think what it is their higher ed is actually looking at doing the user experience. I don't know anybody who's going to walk into a classroom and go, oh, they're running a projector, not a direct view LED. I'm not going to this school. I can't name one person who's going to do that.
No, I don't think that. Yeah, because they don't see it like that.
Yeah. But if the faculty is struggling to get the display up, or they're sitting in the back of the room because the room's packed and they can't see the content, they are going to go to a school where they are getting the content. Right. Some wow factors are going to help them choose a school. We got to also think is the students are in the driver's seat. They get to choose which school they go to and if they even go to a school. I'm a huge fan for higher education, but I will also say higher education is not for everybody. There is awesome people coming out of trade schools. They don't need to go to college. You can go to trade school, get a great career, and do awesome things. Nothing wrong with it. There are people who are just, right out of high school and doing amazing things. So you don't have to go to a college. I think there was a huge push for that really hurt higher ed. To me, I was saying this for a year, higher ed became the 13th grade. It was what you did after 12th grade. After you graduate, you went to college. There was no plan in place. There was no direction. People didn't go because, oh, I want to be a comp sci major, or I want to be a bio engineer, or I want to be this. It was, oh, my parents tell me I have to go to college, or society is telling me I have to go to college. It's our 13th grade. I'm going to go this track just because, I think it's going to be a lot of money. But now people are thinking back and going, is it really valuable? Am I getting my ROI on it as a student? And, that's where we come with us technology folks here is our tools are being used to educate students. And if that tool, it becomes a burden for them to get the education, that's not a good return on their investment. So we got to make sure we're designing rooms and using equipment so that it is seamless and that they can just come in and do what they need to do.
Yeah, I think that's a great way. And then also and I know we kind of touched on this before in the past too, is that yes, it's about the student experience and about professors fumbling and making it seamless and all that stuff, but also it's about supporting the growing population of neurodivergent students. There's also that too.
There's that too.
Because knowing what I know about myself now, I would love to be able to review my lectures and stuff like that and be able to, throw it on, 1.5 speed and, go back through a hour and a half lecture just to kind of make sure I got everything, or like to double check like notes and stuff like that. Cause yeah, I'd be sitting taking notes in class, but then, there's a bird chirping out the window and all of a sudden I'm I'm watching the
Squirrel.
bird outside. Yeah. And I miss like 5 minutes of a lecture, you know, those 5 minutes could have been critical,
Yeah.
it's like, and I know I'm not alone in that,
Mm-hmm.
so like those sort of things, like that's what's important. So yeah, it's more about that. And I agree, James. I think that, it's that experience that is the bigger piece. And it's funny because like all these articles always tend to come from folks that don't have the higher ed experience. It's
Yeah.
like,
They sit on the outside looking in, and
mhm.
there's nothing wrong with that. Don't
No,
get me
no, no.
wrong. They just don't always understand the pain point and the things we're doing. Like if you look at the building I have, a lot of this stuff you can say, well, some people might just say, "Oh, that's good enough," but it's actually a consistent user experience. So it's actually better than good enough because our users come in, they use the room, they're not reporting issues, they're not, so their life, their work, their education are continuing without the technology hindering them. They don't need to hit a bunch of buttons. They don't need to spend 5-10 minutes setting up the space to do a presentation.
Mhm.
Let's face it, higher ed lives by their PowerPoint or slide decks.
Yep.
I don't need a 20-foot DL direct view LED to display a 720 PowerPoint.
Yeah. Or a four by
Sure.
or 4x3. Let's
Yes.
be honest.
Oh gosh,
There,
Yes.
those slides exist still
they do.
for those faculty members that haven't touched their slideshow in like 20 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like,
So, yes, I could put in the 8K, the 60K. I'm throwing out weird numbers out there that aren't really existing, and be in the cutting edge. One, I'm fortunate enough at UNLV that we do have a little more budget, we have a little more pool that we can do things like that. But again, being that good steward is why am I doing that?
Yeah.
I'm not putting technology in for technology's sake. I'm putting in what can help the students and the staff do what they need to do. And some people might label it as, oh, that's good enough. I think too long higher ed has been driven by outside folks who are just throwing everything in the disco ball in there. And then the technology doesn't get used. And now we have the higher ed solved that. The return on their investment, they're like, hey, this is not feasible for us. They started investing in internal people, and now you have organization like HETMA, who is a voice for higher ed. Like we are setting the pace for higher ed as it should be.
yeah. It's funny.
James,
Yes.
just as an aside, I went to grade 13.
Well, I mean, just look at the numbers at Infocom. What they say, 37 or 38% were end user customers.
Yep.
And so it's not only higher ed that we're seeing. I mean, you think of some of my big corporate accounts. We're looking at putting in virtual production labs in their facility because they're going to do their own commercials or content or whatever they're going to do. Like that was unheard of before, right? I mean, now people are bringing things in house. There are construction companies here, low voltage companies are now, they're bringing in their own in-house AV. I mean, it's a lot of things are changing. And I think that the growth at Infocom, seeing that end user count is going up. It's probably why the road to 10K for HETMA went so fast. We thought, oh, that's a lofty goal. Heck, it was beat long before, they thought it would be. But and that's the truth is, we've got those integrators, they better be really doing a good service for you guys, because you're needing them less and less, I guess, right?
Well, it's funny. It just dawned on me too, is that being more knowledgeable of what we actually need in our classrooms and things like that also helps from a sustainability standpoint too, is that we're not putting in unnecessary technology that's going to sit and gather dust for 5 to 7 years, which we are then going to eventually recycle. Well, hopefully. In an ideal world, you recycle it.
Yeah.
But now it's like, okay, these are the things I need to have to make my class successful. And, having that, that's the first step in being sustainable, is only getting what you need. Yeah. So why my brain never thought about that earlier. It just clicked into it now. So
yeah. And the last thing I'll kind of add to this is I think the other driving part of this, and this is something I've been saying for AV from day one, is AV is to dig their feet in, stomp the ground. We do it my way or the highway. And let's face it, IT will not play that game. And IT is all about scalability, management, and uptime. And let's face it, we are IT. You can at me all you want. I'll take it. We are IT. And if we're not going to follow their standard, IT will just skate right around us. They have no problem throwing in the equipment and getting the users up and running and uptime. That's what the IT looks at. AV was too much. Oh, experience. Yes, experience is important. Don't get me wrong. But if your equipment is down, or if it's too cumbersome to use, your experience is horrible. Let's just face it.
Correct.
So, yeah, if it has to be simple, it has to be up, and it has to be easy to use.
Okay, it has to be easy to use. Absolutely. And because AV equipment is not reserved for just 2 special auditoriums. It's flipping everywhere, everywhere. And so I would like to see what you just said, James, and raise it, because got back from Vegas, right?
Yeah.
Because I've been learning about how AI works with technology. AI is basically a connecting interface. So let's go back. It used to be practically command line, WISE stations. I've been around that long, green letters on a black screen. And now, after that, they're like, ooh, let's have graphic interface. Ooh, and that is 20th century now, my God. So at this point, we've got AI as the interface for how to connect with all these things. And the way it works is the AI for this device or this software connects with this AI. And so this AI, which might be Claude or ChatGPT, will then connect to all the other devices. And what that means is they speak their own language, so that the users, and actually, even more importantly, the people who maintain it, have one interface. And I was looking at, hey, what is there in the world of AV? They're like, they don't even see it. Like, guys, you have to get on this right now, especially for higher ed. Higher ed has to manage all these things. They have to manage the conference rooms. They have to manage the AV devices that are for creating content like commercials, and they also have to manage it for displaying content in terms of the digital signage. All of that has to interface with AI. And if AV is saying, we just don't do it that way, that's not how we do it, you're going to not do it anymore, guys.
It's a thing.
Yeah, I mean,
that's the technology interface that has to happen.
Let's look at some of these things. Like, I was just reading not too long ago. It's also, having the clear picture of where you want to go. There was actually a company that was developing what we call the iPhone before the iPhone came out. They were light years ahead of the times. But that company did not have a clear vision. So like Tim might come in and be like, hey, I want this device to do this. Cool, let's do that. And then Renee like, how about we do this? Cool, let's do that. And Murphy's like, hey, let's do, okay, yeah, let's throw that in. So they were just always, there was no clear picture, no clear path, no like, okay, let's throw this as later, let's get this out. And basically they went nowhere. They spun their wheels. So, you know, that's
same thing with Xerox PARC, to go even further back.
Yeah.
They had this incredible technology, and our dearly departed Apple founder came in and stole it, and then was able to use it because he had the vision.
Yep. So that's really the vision. I think us in-house integrators are setting that clear vision for the school. Now, my vision for my school is different than Tim's vision for his school. And, you know, even and even looking at UNLV, like Frank with his main campus is different than me at the med school. And we were just meeting yesterday as our teams. And we want to be dissimilar, but we also know that we have to respect and understand our differences. There is a big difference with working with doctors and future doctors than, you know, a general research university like main campus is. So we have to understand our vision. And I'm not knocking integrators. Don't get me wrong. Don't come at me saying I'm saying integrators are bad. There are very good ones out there. The good ones are the ones who will sit down and actually listen and understand the vision that the school that they're helping is. And instead of trying to drive their own vision or own profit margin, they're actually helping and being a good steward. And that's what is valuable. That's what is needed. And the same thing with manufacturers. You know, reaching out to a manufacturer who's go, okay, maybe our product is great for you, but maybe we're not. Or, hey, we can come up with this deal to help you out with your budget needs and things like that. That's, you know, being a good partner. And then there's other manufacturers like, no, you do it our way, or, you know, pound sand. And then they get upset when you pound sand.
Yeah.
And those manufacturers are finding out the hard way, I think.
Yeah, right. And that's where I feel like I've always taken the stance of transparency when I meet with my manufacturer partners. Is like, you know, yeah, I want to hear about what you got. I want to hear, but like, here's where I am. And it's like, I'm not, you know, if I'm not actively looking, I'm just kind of keeping my, and it's I would say 9 times out of 10, they're just appreciative that we took the time to meet with them and didn't just tell them to pound sand. It's like, so, you know, I feel like because, yeah, you never know in whatever instance you might need that product, you know, or you find that diamond in the rough that you never really expected. You know, I've had, you know, actually I'm waiting on a product on a PTZ camera from another manufacturer, and who at least Brandy's not here, that but you know, I'm just demoing it out because like they're talking a good game and it might meet something that I need for specific spaces. You know, it's like, so I'm not discounting any of the other manufacturer partners that I'm friends with, but you know, it's,
well, that's your job. You got to do your due diligence, right? And check out
exactly
what your options are. And I think most of us in that, you know, we mostly understand all that. I mean, that's one of the things that we have a new series that we just released at Infocom, and one of the things I got to live firsthand was last summer. Some of the Japanese fellas came in and traveled around with me. I took them to end user customers. I took them to consultants. I took them to reseller partners, and they heard a lot of the same feedback. And then, so it was exciting when this new series gets released and we start doing trainings on them. I'm like, oh, cool. That was voice of customer. That's something that was a need. We didn't need it to do this. We needed to do this. And it's like, oh, they changed it. So I think that's great that you're testing the things that you need to do and give that feedback back. Because if it's a manufacturer that's paying attention, they're not only going to hear it from you, they're going to hear it from other people. So.
And the feedback is important. That is why, you know, people like Tim and I have jobs for higher ed is, working with the manufacturers. We don't develop products. I mean, we don't, but we are the ones who are installing it and using it. It may not be the way that the manufacturer designed it or intended it to be used, but providing that feedback. And there's manufacturers. I know Nancy knows this one where we've been giving feedback and they haven't listened. And then there's a manufacturers that we have given feedback to and they listen. And you can see where those manufacturers line up based on how they handle the feedback.
Yep. And I've said that over and over again on this podcast is that, any manufacturer who listens to the feedback and works with us and listens and actually truly listens is going to be successful with higher ed. And, and actually, I think that's just in general. If you listen to your feedback and actually I mean, obviously some of the feedback might be a little off the wall, but for the most part, like a lot of us know what we're talking about. So if we're telling you it's not doing X, Y, Z, there's some credibility to that,
And that's the reason why I really did learn, because it was my first time at Infocom with ScreenBeam, is they had it's a product that's in the works, the technology, and they were inviting over, the folks from the HETMA booth, the higher ed institutions, to look at it and to give their feedback, because they want to make sure that they're going in the right direction. That I like.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
That was neat. Well, and that's trickling over into corporate space. It's not just higher education either, because like I said, I've got one of my corporate clients that they have a university, and that's where they do all their training. That's where they bring in all the new hires. So it is like a classroom. It's built just like a lecture hall, and so they're doing in that classroom for the entire company what you guys are doing to students every day, right? You're giving them an experience. And so your feedback, is funny, because we got the same feedback at that university inside that business that we did at some of the higher ed schools. So it trickles across the entire industry. So it's always good. So for those manufacturers who aren't listening, start listening.
All right. Well, I think that's a perfect way of ending this episode. So, I mean,
That's
Nancy, thank you. Yeah, Nancy, Renee, Murphy, James, thank you all for
This is
jumping in here.
awesome.
I know.
It's good.
I got them. And I was like, you mean like in 10 minutes?
And I'm like, yep.
Yep.
I'm like, okay, let me change this one thing and then I'll be on.
Magic. We
I
are
like
magic.
the afternoon. It's
Yeah.
awesome.
Oh, well, maybe we can make something out of it. We'll see.
Yeah. Well, I'm not tired.
We'll talk.
Normally I'm
We'll
like,
talk.
okay, now I gotta
Yeah,
go.
we'll talk offline. Yeah, you don't need to head off to training or anything. So,
Yeah.
yeah,
Great
we'll
to
talk
see you.
offline about that, and we'll see what we can do. So, all right. Well, thanks all for jumping in here today. Thanks all to our listeners out there and watchers, and folks who've gone to higheredav.com and checked in on us there. Keep an eye out. We do have our new theme for HETMA, Homecoming. So we'll have more details about that as as the fiscal year now kicks in. So it's our new year. So we'll have more information coming up about that. So listen in, and as always, until our next adventure.